Hey, so I wanted to present a different perspective on what it means to be addicted and why so many people are addicted. As somebody who struggled with addiction for many years, sobered up at 21 and stayed sober for 7 years in AA, traditional, what pretty much everyone is presented if they're an addict and, they're seeking treatment and whatever. I might get passionate. Just know that don't mistake my passion for anger. It is passion. I have no judgment. I have no judgment for anybody else's path, only love. And my only hope is to break up some of these old patterns and ways that we think about things, because the stories that we tell about things, we have a lot of stuck stories and patterns, and they're keeping us stuck in the same loops over and over. Okay. Then we have this corrupt, incredibly corrupt system that is coming in and causing the majority of our issues, and then we're turning to that system to fix the issues that system created. To me, that's a little insane. And I also get it. I feel like the reason that that's happened is because we're all so overworked. We're all so tired. We have no creative energy. We, are trying to get by day to day. We're trying to eat. Everything's getting more expensive. So that's getting even more challenging. The world's becoming more stressful, especially if we're caught up in social media and all these things. More and more people are feeling the need to escape on a regular basis. I think that's what we need to look at. Why are so many people feeling the need to escape and escape on a regular basis? This is what I found through my own experience of walking through addiction, staying sober, completely abstinent for 7 years, being very active in the AA program. It worked for me until it didn't. About 3 years in, I was ready to take myself off this planet, and I was still doing everything that I was supposed to do in that program. I'm not saying it doesn't help some people. It does. And if it works for you, continue doing it. Like, whatever, Here's what I'm saying. Maybe the people that struggle with addiction, I know this is true for me, are bigger feelers. Our characters are all created differently, unique. We're all created in a unique way. We feel things on different levels. We feel emotion on different levels. Some of us are more mind driven, mind dominated, which works a lot better in this society. Some of us are more creatives. Most of the creatives are more emotional, more in tune emotionally, because that is where the intuition lives. That is where our creative power lives. That is the creative power that is the universe, that is God, that lives within you. That lives within all of us. All of us are creative, and we can tap into that. A pattern that I noticed with addicts and with people on the streets, generally very creative people naturally. These are people that came into this world to be creatives. And this world is not set up set up to suffocate creativity unless you make it big, because everything is about money. We've placed the highest value on money. So, oh, well, you're not ever going to make it doing that. So then people crush their hopes and dreams. They shut them away. And for some people, it is more because of the way their character is created. They can fall into this system a little easier. They can conform into the school system a little easier. They can do things. And for some people, it is absolutely, this is my experience, absolutely suffocating. And most creatives feel that they don't fit in the general way that things operate. You know what I mean? And that feeling and for me, I was bullied from the first time I entered kindergarten for being who I am, I have, very expansive energy. That's how I was born. I watch videos of myself before I went to school, and it's like, Oh my gosh, yeah, I had this very expansive energy. Yes, I have a lot of feminine energy, but I feel like the reason that I was targeted for my first day in kindergarten was more because my energy coming in is more evolved, which is not better, more evolved, more expansive, and it like people just it brings up things in people. So I tone myself down for a long time. So it's like I look at my life before I was 7 years old, and I had this expansive, like fun energy. I was making videos, I was dancing in front of the camera, I was singing in front of the camera, I was doing all these things. Joy, 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 tons of joy. Like hardly ever, I've always had a smile on my face, you know. I brought so much joy, I hear, to my family when I was growing up because I just radiated this joy, which I believe is because my soul came in. Like I've been through, and you know, something. I don't think I've only been to. It doesn't matter. Here's the thing. I just know that I've been through an ascension process and chose to continue ascending. We're all at different points in our evolution, and I came in with a more evolved spirit. I believe that those of us with a more evolved spirit have a harder time fitting into the school system because we can see that it is, and it's like we know at a soul level because we have a thinner layer of forgetting who we truly are. And it's like school was literally, I mean, it was torture. It was torture every day for me, not just because I was being bullied, but sitting in a classroom doing that is not what I was created to do. So, and then you start having people, because I can't pay attention in class, because I have this ADD disorder and all these other things. Say hello to my dog. And then I start developing depression and anxiety. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? They turn it on you. It's like getting gaslit when it's like, I came into this world with so much joy, so much freedom. I was such a free spirit. And then I went into school and they tried to put me in this box and make me conform. Of course, I started feeling suffocated. And when I first was introduced to drugs at 12 years old, of course I wanted to escape. I literally was so miserable because I was always in trouble. I wasn't doing any because I was not created for school. My spirit was too expansive, too whatever. And I was created to be created. But then with all the grades and the way that they do the whole thing in school, I was not making good grades. I don't retain information by reading it from a book. Like, I was not a part of anything. I was constantly shut out. I was usually attacked by like half the classroom at a time. This is not to be pity. I don't need pity. Believe me, it strengthened me. I know how incredibly resilient the human spirit is because I went through hell on this earth for a long time. And I'm so grateful for all of it. To be 36 years old and awake to the truth that lives within all of us is a beautiful and amazing thing. And I understand why I chose this path to be at the place that I'm at today. So, the system is literally creating these issues. And I believe also that those of us that struggle with addiction, I can't speak for everybody. I can speak for myself though, and say that for me, I know that I'm somebody that's very emotional. And then we live in a society that tells you to push your emotions away. I pushed them away for years and years. Then I was getting bullied on top of that. And I was in this school system that has literally no outlets for creative people. I didn't know I was creative. I was we're programmed to kind of shut that part of us out. And so I never wanted to use my imagination. I wanted to be a grown up because of the way we treat kids, because of it's very subtle, but I'm very tuned into energy and the way that it's like we're an inconvenience, we're all these things. And for some of us, we feel that on a level that is tolerable. For those of us that feel things in a really big way, it's overwhelming. And that is how I am. That's how I've always been. I've always been in tune with other people's emotions. I've always been sensitive to the energy around me. Nobody's teaching me how to deal with those things. So yeah, once I get, and then constantly in trouble, constantly told, what's wrong with your kid? Okay, look at me before I went to school. Look at me before I ever showed up that first day in kindergarten. Watch the home videos of me. Free, happy, joyous, free spirit, having fun, bringing joy to people's lives. And then I went to school and then something was wrong with me. What's wrong with this kid? Because I was not created to conform. None of us were, but some of us can tolerate it more than others. So maybe we stop looking so much to that person and reduce the stigma around what it means to have an addiction. I have more to share on this, and I'll share more on it. That's what I feel like I was supposed to share right now, though. And I love you guys. My intention with these videos is really just to break up the patterns in the way, because the stories we tell create our reality. Things are more neutral until we come in and create a story about it. And the story that's being told about what it means to be an addict, like that person is a failure, rather than looking at what led to that point and looking how our society is creating that. And it's in Western society, I mean, addiction, but we are the most addicted in the entire world. But we don't want to look at where that correlates to how our system operates. And I think at this point, that's really important to look at, because I believe we need to start looking at prevention, which we got to look at the system. If we're going to start looking at prevention and what that looks like, not fighting and making sure that, like, we can't do that. We've been doing that forever. It's not working because it's not about the drugs. It's not about the drugs. I love you guys.